Most men believe they understand women. Most men are catastrophically wrong. I'm not talking about a slight miscalculation, a minor misunderstanding here and there. I am talking about a fundamental, chasm-like gap in comprehension, a level of ignorance so profound it borders on the unbelievable. The female mind is not some slightly modified version of the male mind. It's an uncharted labyrinth, a vast, complex network of deceptive corridors and hidden chambers, far more intricate and nuanced than the vast majority of men could possibly realize. Think of a sprawling, ancient city buried beneath centuries of sand. You might see a few crumbling walls on the surface, maybe a hint of a pathway, and think you've grasped the layout. But beneath your feet lies a world of interconnected tunnels, secret rooms, and forgotten treasures, a reality infinitely more complex than your superficial glance could ever reveal. This is the female mind, and men are consistently making catastrophic, relationship-destroying, life-altering mistakes because they are only seeing those few crumbling walls. What are these disastrous errors? Ignoring the unspoken language of emotions, believing that a woman's no always means no, assuming that logic and reason will always prevail in an argument, thinking that a woman's desire for security is a sign of weakness. The list goes on, a litany of failures born from arrogance and a deep-seated unwillingness to truly see the woman in front of them. Each mistake is a wrong turn in the labyrinth, leading further away from understanding and closer to frustration, conflict, and ultimately failure. But I am here to offer you something different. I am here to offer you the raw, unfiltered truth, the kind of truth that will shatter your illusions and force you to confront your own ignorance. I'm going to give you a map, a detailed, painstakingly crafted guide to navigate this treacherous, beautiful, and ultimately rewarding terrain. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm going to expose the hidden mechanisms, the evolutionary imperatives, the societal pressures, and the deep-seated emotional realities that shape the female psyche. This is not just about having better relationships, although that will certainly be a byproduct. This is about unlocking a deeper level of existence, a more profound understanding of yourself and the world around you. It's about tapping into a source of masculine power that you didn't even know existed, a power that comes from true empathy, genuine connection, and the ability to navigate the complexities of the human heart. Are you ready to face the truth? Are you ready to descend into the labyrinth? Let's cut the crap, gentlemen. The most pervasive, the most destructive lie men tell themselves is this: that women are essentially men in a different package. That they think like us, react like us, want what we want, just with different plumbing. This is not just wrong, it's catastrophically, monumentally, offensively wrong. It's the intellectual equivalent of believing the earth is flat, a delusion that will lead you to sail right off the edge of your relational world and into the abyss of misunderstanding. Think of an iceberg, a majestic, terrifying behemoth of ice. What you see above the surface, a woman's words, her overt actions, a smile, a frown, is perhaps 10% of the reality. The other 90%, the submerged mass that can rip the hull out of your metaphorical Titanic, is the swirling vortex of her emotions, her ingrained evolutionary programming, her societal conditioning, her unspoken needs and desires. You, blinded by your own masculine lens, assume that because you would say if you meant Y, she must do the same. Wrong. Let me paint you a picture. A woman is silent after a disagreement. You, operating under the flawed assumption of sameness, think she's processing just like I would. Give her space. You go off and play video games, supremely confident in your enlightened male understanding. Hours later, she explodes. Why? Because her silence wasn't about processing data. It was a scream for connection, a test of your empathy, a desperate hope that you would see beyond the surface and understand the unspoken turmoil beneath. You failed, miserably. because you were looking at a woman and seeing a distorted reflection of yourself. Or consider this. You present a logical solution to her problem. You dissect it, analyze it, offer a step-by-step plan of attack. You expect gratitude, perhaps even admiration for your problem-solving prowess. Instead, you get frustration, maybe even tears. Why? Because she wasn't looking for a solution, she was looking for validation. For someone to acknowledge the emotional weight she was carrying, to feel with her, not to fix her. Your logic, your perfectly crafted solution, was like offering a starving man a lecture on the nutritional value of bread instead of, actually giving him the bread. These aren't isolated incidents. They are symptoms of a fundamental disconnect. Men and women process emotions differently. It's not just social conditioning, although that plays a massive role. It's biological. Hormonal fluctuations, for instance, aren't just some mythical time-of-the-month inconvenience. They are a powerful, cyclical force that shapes a woman's perception of the world. Her evolved need for security, rooted in millennia of vulnerability during childbearing, is not some outdated relic. It's a deep-seated drive that influences her choices and her relationships. And the societal pressures, the constant barrage of expectations and judgments, mold her behavior in ways you, as a man, can scarcely imagine. Stop projecting your own internal world onto women. It's the height of arrogance, and it will lead you to ruin. Begin to truly understand the otherness of the female mind. Start to understand the true depth of that iceberg. Only then can you start to make a true connection, decoding the enigma, unveiling the hidden mechanisms. Prepare yourself, because we're diving deep into the very core of the female psyche, a place where logic bends and breaks, and where the currents of emotion run stronger than any river known to man. The emotional labyrinth, why logic fails. Have you ever tried to reason with a hurricane? To negotiate with a tidal wave? That, gentlemen, is what it's like to apply your rigid linear logic to the swirling, ever-shifting emotional landscape of a woman. Forget your flowcharts and diagrams. A woman's emotions are not a straight line from A to B. They are a complex, interconnected web, a tapestry woven with threads of past experiences, present anxieties, and future hopes, all tinged with the vibrant hues of hormonal fluctuations. Imagine a stormy sea, constantly churned by winds you cannot see, with unpredictable currents and hidden depths. That is the reality. While you are paddling calmly in your little rowboat of logic on a placid lake, she is navigating a tempest. You see a flicker of anger and you assume a direct cause and effect relationship. You're wrong. That anger might be the culmination of 1,000 tiny cuts, a resonance of a past hurt, or even a reflection of her own internal struggles that have absolutely nothing to do with you. And the silence. Oh, the silence. That's where the real conversation is happening. What a woman doesn't say is often 1,000 times more important than what she does say. Her intuition, that almost supernatural ability to perceive the unspoken, is a force you ignore at your own peril. Learn to read the subtle shifts in her body language, the almost imperceptible changes in her tone, the unspoken pleas in her eyes. That, my friends, is where the truth lies. The security paradox, independence vs need. This is where most men stumble, completely baffled by what seems like an irreconcilable contradiction. She declares her independence, her strength, her ability to conquer the world on her own. And yet beneath that fierce exterior lies a deep-seated primal need for security, for validation, for the unwavering reassurance of your presence. Does this sound like a flaw? It's not. It is the very essence of human connection, amplified in the female heart. Think of a mighty oak tree. It stands tall and proud, its branches reaching for the sky, seemingly independent of all around it. Yet its roots are deeply embedded in the earth, drawing sustenance and stability from the ground. A woman's desire for independence is her branches, reaching for the sun. Her need for security is her roots, anchoring her to something solid and dependable. I once knew a woman, a CEO, a powerhouse in her industry, who could command armies of men with a single glance. Yet in her relationship, she crumbled because her partner, blinded by her outward strength, failed to provide the emotional bedrock she craved. He saw the steel, but he missed the vulnerable heart beneath. He mistook her independence for a lack of need, and their relationship shattered like glass. Don't make the same mistake. Recognize that her strength and her vulnerability are two sides of the same coin, equally vital, equally deserving of your respect and understanding. The test of fire, why women test men. And now the most controversial, the most misunderstood aspect of all, the so-called tests. Let's be clear, this is not about malicious manipulation. This is about survival. For millennia, women have had to rely on their instincts to choose partners who could provide, protect, and ensure the survival of their offspring. This is hardwired into their DNA. Think of a blacksmith hammering a piece of steel, repeatedly subjecting it to intense heat and pressure not to break it, but to test its strength, its resilience, its ability to withstand the forces that will inevitably be brought to bear upon it. That is what a woman is doing, albeit unconsciously, most of the time. She's testing your mettle. Will you crumble under pressure? Will you lash out in anger? Will you withdraw in fear? Or will you stand firm, unwavering in your strength and confidence? She might challenge your decisions, question your motives, or even push your buttons to see how you react. The wrong response is to become defensive, aggressive, or to shut down emotionally. That signals weakness, instability, a lack of control. The right response: calm, unwavering strength. A quiet confidence that says, I am unshakable. I am the rock you can lean on. Understand the underlying purpose, and you will pass the test, not with flying colors, but with the quiet dignity of a man who knows his own worth. Are you strong enough to be her anchor in the storm? Are you resilient enough to weather her emotional tides? Prove it, not with words, but with the unwavering solidity of your character. These questions are meant to shock the system, to get under your skin and start looking into yourself. Most men believe they understand women. Most men are catastrophically, dangerously wrong. You thought you knew. You swaggered through life, brimming with misplaced confidence, didn't you? You patted yourself on the back for every superficial victory, every fleeting moment of compliance you mistook for understanding. Now you know you didn't. Now the crushing weight of reality, the sheer, breathtaking complexity of the female mind, has been laid bare before you like a dissected creature on a surgical table. You've seen the gears turning, the hidden chambers, the deceptive corridors of the Labyrinth of Venus. But this, gentlemen, this is not about learning a cheap set of tricks. This isn't some twisted game of manipulation where you memorize a script and pull the right levers to get what you want. That is the path of the weak, the insecure, the ultimately unsuccessful man. Mastering this understanding, truly seeing the woman before you, is about forging connections so deep, so authentic, they resonate with the very core of your being. It's about unlocking a level of intimacy you never thought possible, a level that transcends the physical and delves into the profound, the spiritual even. It is the path to a greater masculine self. I challenge you. I dare you to step away from the screen, to look away from the fabricated realities of the digital world, and to truly engage with the women in your life. Observe them. Listen to them, not just to their words, but to the unspoken language that flows beneath the surface, the subtle shifts in their eyes, the almost imperceptible tension in their bodies. Hear the whispers of their intuition, the echoes of their evolutionary heritage. See the storm raging beneath the calm facade, the fierce protectiveness veiled by a gentle smile. Truly see them, not as objects to be conquered, but as complex, powerful beings to be understood, respected, and cherished. The Labyrinth of Venus is not a prison designed to trap and confuse you. It is a gateway to a deeper understanding of yourselves, of women, of the very fabric of human connection. Step through, shed your illusions, embrace the challenge, and become the man you were meant to be. A man of strength, of empathy, of unwavering presence. A man who truly understands.